Hey everyone, you're listening to Dirt Grow Podcast with your host, David Buurma. So good morning, Dirt Grow Podcast. It's coming here to you, and we have an amazing guest that is going to give us a lot of insight, a lot of background of the past of his past on being a large manufacturer of farm machinery. So this man, he's raised 8 kids, now currently producing 600 units, I believe, of pieces of manufacturing, or 800 units per year, and it's about 60 million gross in manufacturing. So it's exciting to announce and to introduce my brother, Glenn Buurma. So, good morning. How you doing?
Great.
So it's a little different. It's a little different experience for you.
Never done this before.
No. There's a lot of things this guy's done though that before for the first time, right? Yeah. So we wanted to kind of, I gave you a bit of intro where you are today. 800 units, is that correct, or where are you at in a year?
We've had to back off production a little bit lately, just a little more challenging. So we're.
But the last 12 months, would you be close to 800 or?
So I guess if we do 10 and 7 and 1, that's 18 a week. So 18 times 50, 20 times 50. I guess it was 20 times 50, it'd be 1,000. So
maybe I'm still being conservative here.
Well, we're not there. We're not there at those numbers today. But no, we would have been maybe crowding in around 900 units up till about 4 months ago, and we've had to back that off maybe about 20% here now.
Yeah. So you build dump boxes.
Yeah, so 1 dump box a week, and we were at 1 dump box a week and 7 spreaders a week and 10 mixers a week.
Awesome. So the mixer's been your mainstay.
Yeah.
That's what you started with, right?
That's,
and then you went on to spreaders. And then the dump boxes. Is that correct? Or were you dump boxes?
No, it would have been dump boxes before spreaders.
Interesting. Yeah. And dump boxes were kind of unique because you actually kind of created a new design for North America. A lot of European stuff was coming across, but nothing North American design.
Yeah, so local farmer reached out to me in 2010 and said, hey, I'm going to Agritechnica because I want to build a couple dump boxes. I said, hey, can I come along with you? And we looked at a bunch of them, lined up a few vendors for dump box components, and then so that would have been Agritechnica, so that would have been at the end of 9 or 10, I forget. But anyway, so let's say 9 or 10, and then we built 2 for him, and wanted a European-looking dump box with North American pricing, and I think we achieved that.
But you also built something that would not be as wide in Europe. So you built something wider here. You built it wider. They had more of a North American feel to it.
Correct. There's restrictions in Europe for width, and we don't have any of them here. So just built a really wide dump box that's great to hit the hole, and we achieved that, and we put a few other features in it that are unique to Penta. So it's worked very, very well.
Yeah, cool. So we're going to digress to back to the beginning. So had a little conversation with Dad a bit ago, and he talked about a bit about the educational side, right? And I kind of poked him a bit about education and what his belief was on education. I went back to the history of how it worked for you and him and that kind of stuff. Interesting enough, you didn't have no pushback when he asked you to, like, hey, this is your ultimatum. It's these grades, know where you're going or you're out. You didn't have no pushback, and you were like, okay, cool, I'm good to go. Yeah.
So of course, prior to high school, Dad kind of had a little visit and said a grade 10 and a good reason why, and you can continue. An 80% average, 75 or 80% average, and a good reason why, and you can continue on after 10. And I guess for me, I didn't really enjoy my time in school, and so when I hit high school, it was just a goof off session, and so wrapped up grade 10, didn't quite get my grade 10, and I was really, really happy in September of that year when school bus was going by and I wasn't on it.
Yeah. So clearly you didn't get the 75% average either.
No. Maybe a 55.
He passed.
Yeah.
No, good. So you're okay. You're cool. You go. So now Dad brings you into the business. You had no idea what your strengths and weaknesses were. You had no idea what you were even probably doing the first day. What was the process?
I had I had worked for a beef farmer just up the road after school every day and all summer for 3 years. And of course, then I started working in Dad's business. I believe I was delivering hog equipment for the first little while, and then I was on the soap truck delivering cleaning chemicals to dairy farmers for a little while after that, and then an opportunity at Dad's other location an hour north of here. The route truck delivery guy had some health challenges, and so I slid into that role and did that for, I'm going to say, a year and a half or two. And then the dairy equipment business was wound down. Dad and the sales rep were kind of locking horns a little bit, and so that kind of came to an end. And then I guess then it was likely I focused more on the used and new mixer side of the business, where I guess I kind of slid into those roles afterwards.
So I always believe sales is so important, so crucial. I think every man should honestly do a bit of sales in their life. It creates that understanding, other people and understand communication and that kind of stuff. So you obviously done sales when you're in the routes, selling chemicals, and then you got into the mixers and so forth. So do you consider yourself a good salesman now, or would you consider yourself an average salesman, or where's your strengths in sales? What were you good at? I think you have ability to connect with people. What was the strength in that area for you?
So I believe that I'm an average salesperson. I really enjoy sales. I really enjoy the part that I enjoy the most about what we do today at Penta is the people interaction.
Right.
So that's what my biggest passion is just people interaction. And I enjoy the sales side. Do I think I'm a great closer, a great salesman? No, but I really, really enjoy it.
Right. Something interesting about you, I noticed whenever you go anywhere, you always see somebody or you get to know somehow. Like it's interesting. Like somehow there's a connection of something.
I'm great at recognizing people. Maybe a 7 out of 10 at remembering their names.
Sure.
But just really, I guess when we do our trade shows, just really, really enjoy that people interaction,
right.
And it's. You're done at the end of 3 days, but it's a fun 3 days.
Right. So that's progressing forward. You're now selling. You're selling feed equipment, then you're going into mixers a bit. You're selling a bit of mixers, and then you digress into taking these mixers and trading them in. Somebody you'll sell a mixer. You're selling new mixers at that time, were you?
Yeah. So Dad would have sold a couple mixers a year in the 70s and 80s, and then. And then I guess in the 90s, that really ramped up. John Baker was a big part of that. He was on the team, and he's an excellent salesman. And then so of course, part of selling new mixers is trading them in, and
right.
Then seeing a little opportunity in the used mixer business. So we would rebuild, 50 to 70 used mixers a year.
Right.
And so that gave us.
Were you making more profit on the used ones than the new ones when you were rebuilding them, or not necessarily?
When that business was that size, I'm just going to be honest, we didn't know where we were making money. Yeah,
right.
we tried every year to make money, and yes, most years we did make money at the end of the year, but what sector of that
was
profitable? No idea.
Right.
No idea.
So you're selling new ones, taking the used ones, selling the used ones, fixing them up, painting them, sandblasting, painting them, redoing the flighting, redoing the sides, all that kind of stuff, putting new plastic and all that kind of stuff. And then you were selling them and getting trades into them too. So it was a lot, always, just kept on moving back and forth.
Correct.
So as I understand, you started building your own vertical mixers. What was the motivation factor to build your own? What was the push? What was the situation that pushed you to say, hey, you know what, let's try some building some of our own?
Yeah, so we had some features that we thought we could do better. The market place was asking for a mixer that was lower profile and heavier built.
Right.
And so that was the focus when we introduced our first vertical in March of '01 at the London Farm Show.
Yeah, so we timed this back. So you were from 16 to about 15, 16 years later. How many years later before you started building your own?
So I was
You said
out
01?
of school in 91, bought the business from Dad in 97. So I guess from out of school to manufacturing would have been 10 years exactly.
10 years. So it's incredible. Like, that's why, it's so important to start young, right?
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because you got so much experience over that period of time, right?
And you have so little fear when you're
Right.
young.
It's
And
true.
the thing is when you don't have a fear is a bit of fear is healthy in life, but when you don't have a lot of fear, you're willing to risk it all, you're willing to take chances, you just see everything as opportunities.
Right. That's very true. Well, I think that's where they took advantage of the young guys when they're going to war back in the day, right? Because they had no fear, right? They didn't know what they're getting into. And as we get older, we're more aware of the risk, and I think we're more aware of the time, right?
Correct.
When you're young, you have all the time in the world. When you get older, it's like, okay, well, is this gonna be a 5-year or a 10-year? What's the payout on it? So now we're starting to build the mixers, and now we're going in the marketplace. You've had a lot of hurdles in life.
A few.
In business.
Yes. One or two. One or two.
So one of the challenges were that you had a patent discrepancy, a challenge with a competitor. Can you tell me a bit of that situation? What was the outcome, and what was the journey? Because a lot of times people, they fail and they see it as a failure. How was that journey for you? What did you learn? What was it like?
Yeah, so looking back, so it was we were sued because we were allegedly being infringing on a patent.
Right.
We made the mistake of hiring non-patent lawyers to fight our battle. Should have never done that. Big mistake. That outcome did not come in our favor in '07.
So what was the it was to do with the top of the screw, right? And that you weren't supposed to have a slant on it. So out of that journey, what was the charge? What was the fee? What was the
Yeah, I think the judge threw at us around $1 million.
$1 million
we needed to pay.
And that was more than, because you guys were not, because at your age, you're still fairly young, and you weren't actually that profitable despite of doing a lot in business. You were just, every money you made, you just kind of threw back at the business and you just kept on. So there was no real.
No, there's no war chest.
There was no money for that. And so at that point in time, you had no option but to file bankruptcy. Is that correct? Or was it actually bankruptcy, or what was that journey?
So I was advised to file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
A bit of a weird situation that was, because I was advised to do it. I guess I went ahead and done it. Really didn't even know what bankruptcy really meant back there when in '07.
Yep.
We then then of course, we weren't very, very thankful. Our lender stuck with us through that whole journey, and we just kind of, I guess, to be really frank about it, we just bucked the paying end of things. We just didn't pay, and so the other side kept dialing up the heat, and they called me one day and said, "Hey, we're coming down to change the locks and the doors," and anyways, they came down that afternoon, changed the locks and the doors, and actually where we're hanging out here this morning, we hung out upstairs for a couple, 3 weeks, and thankfully we had call forwarded the phones to here, so that, the phone kept ringing, we kept answering the phones, we kept communicating with our dealers and the farmers that were reaching out to us, and then anyways, to make a long story short, maybe about 3 weeks after the locks got changed, we ended up going to downtown Toronto and did a little arm wrestling, and we agreed on a different number again, and so because because of our lender being a secured creditor in this whole thing, they got made whole in it, and and then I'm going to say maybe a week after our visit in Toronto and the dust all settled, we got the locks got changed back to the original keys, and and so we continued on our way, and so it was, I'm going to say it was likely a 4-week, maybe a 5-week hiccup and things, and because we were able to settle things up, and of course this was all new to me, they were able to reverse the bankruptcy, so I guess we were bankrupt for maybe 5 weeks or so, and then they reversed that bankruptcy, and then we continued on our way.
Did you lose much sleep in this process?
That's a long time ago. Not a lot, I guess, because not sure where to go, but no, I guess I'm through most challenges in life. I don't understand why, but I don't lose much sleep.
Why do you think that is? That's kind of a weird, like a lot of people would they be all bothered and worked up and can't sleep and that kind of stuff. Why is it that you, for whatever reason, doesn't really bother you that much?
I don't know if I really can I guess I just, through that journey, Dad said something to me that I'll never forget, that your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness. And so, seeing nothing but opportunities in the future in life, also, as much as that's great, you don't always take life seriously enough.
And you don't see the pitfalls either. Also,
correct.
Right.
You see the kind of the pitfalls as opportunities. It's kind of a weird situation, and so really, whatever was meant to be through that journey, and what was a little unfortunate is after that competitor got done with us, they decided to chase another competitor here in Ontario, and that competitor was smarter than us, and they went and hired patent lawyers, found out that it was prior art in Germany, and got thrown out. And so, what happened to us should have never, ever happened, but everything's meant to be in life.
Right.
Everything is.
And so, journey from then to now, you've obviously had some other struggles and struggles financially, despite everybody, like a lot of people look at business and think, oh, that looks like success, right? Producing product, all going. But what actually creates a successful business? What is the things that you say, hey, these are the things that you got to watch out for that have turned the tide for you a bit when it comes to manufacturing? What are the things you need to understand? What are the things you need to be aware of that you were not aware of, that you didn't think about before?
So 06, 07 was challenging for that reason we just chatted about. And then come 18, we were scattered in 5 different locations and did a year-end count. And there wasn't as much inventory as what we were telling our lender, to a huge scale. And so that was the beginning of our next challenge through most of 18, 19, and half of 20. And so the reason I bring that topic in here is there's having somebody on the there's lots of great finance people, but they really need to understand the business that you're in. And I'm embarrassed to say, for the first we've been in business now. We've been in business now for 26 years, and for the first 20 years of that, we really had no idea, what we manufacture 3 different product lines, and in there's 3 to 25 different models depending on the product line, and up till a few years ago, we had really up to like 5 years ago, we really had no idea which model within each product was making any money. And we knew at the end of the year, of course. So just really, really understanding in a live basis what you're making money on, what you're not, and And
identifying your expenses. Identifying your costs.
Costs.
Yeah. And now I understand on each piece of equipment you almost have your costs. Is that correct?
I can, of course, I don't know how to do it,
Sure.
but if I was to ask, 10 minutes later, I could tell you what a 400 cubic foot mixer is costing us at the moment.
Right.
At the moment.
Right.
And so every month, there's our finance guy produces a report that lets us know what the margin we had on every single unit that got shipped that month.
Right. And so going in being in a business of manufacturing, it's very difficult because you have so many layers. Like the product comes in on a piece of sheet steel, right? It gets cut out. You got to identify what that piece of steel is now worth, right? And you got to identify once it's been shaped or whatever, what that cost is, right? So all the way through the process, identifying all those costs is super difficult, right? Because you have the waste and all that kind of stuff, shrink and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a really interesting challenge that a lot of people. It's really hard to identify that, especially when you're starting up, because you're focused on growing. There's so many different avenues you got to focus on, right? You got to focus on sales, you got to focus on marketing, manufacturing, all this kind of stuff, and still understand what your costs are. That's really interesting. So what is it today? Looking back, like you don't work a lot of hours in your job, is that correct?
Yeah. So of course, throughout the years, doing one of these kind of profiles. It's happened to me many times, and so I'm going to say maybe a big year ago, another one got done, and we were in our senior team gets together once a month off-site. We bring in a coach from Oakville to do mentoring for us. Great thing, highly recommended. So anyways, I'm going to say a big year ago, we were going through a profile session, and I want to continue to grow, but I'm okay in my own skin. And so I just wanted to, I said, if you need somebody's profile thrown up on the screen so you can show all the different spots that different team members need to look at, happy to put mine on the screen. So he said, thank you, threw mine up screen. Long story short, the next day I'm at the office, and HR comes in and sits down, closes the door behind her in my office, and when HR comes to your office and shuts the door, it's normally going to be an interesting visit. So anyways, of course, I get a bit of a smirk on my face, and she tells me that, I never realized somebody's analytical score could be so low. And of course, analytical's a new word for me, and so I said, well, you're two things. You're going to either have to explain to me what analytical means, or you're going to have to give me a few minutes here and I can Google it. And so, of course, she graciously told me it's my attention to detail. And I've never enjoyed detail. I'm not good at detail. And so anyways, she just said, hey, we've got an awesome team here, which we really, really do. We got an awesome team at Penta. And if you want to go out there and she calls it create your own chaos. But so anyways, today I go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the rest of the time spend a little more time at home, and then spend the rest of the time with dealers, trade shows, vendors, influential farmers. And so that's kind of my journey today, and I just really, I believe that what holds most businesses back in life is the owner not getting out of the way. And
that's
so
really
it's
interesting.
in our setting, every setting's a little different, but in our setting, most owners of a manufacturing business are a Tommy Tinkerer, and that's not who I am. Thankfully, I had an awesome guy for 20 years that was that person, and so I don't know how to do most things that we do at Penta, so me getting out of the way was easy. It's tough for a lot of people to get out of the way because there's that trust thing, and they can always do it better, and Tommy Tinkerers are very gifted people, and so the more gifted you are in life, I think the harder it is to let go.
Right. So strength versus weakness. So your weakness is details. Then what is your strength?
So I'd like I'd like to share with the team ideas that have come up in my head. normally, I think everybody's a little different where they come up with those ideas. For me, it's doing kind of mundane, physical work is where I come up with my ideas, and a different idea comes in my head. I'll send myself a little email, and then it's there. And I'm really good with the team, only taking me up on 5% of my ideas, but I'm just going to keep throwing ideas at them. Lots of them are crazy. Lots of them get laughed about, but I'll keep come up with ideas, share them with the team, and if 5% of them stick, that's great. And but the side where the business is at today, it's just all about being consistent and production and just being, just getting things to the finish line is where I think is where when a business gets to be a certain size is just getting things to the finish line. And I really struggle with getting things to the finish line.
Right. So if a person want to be in manufacturing today, what's their goal? Is it the brand? Is it profitability? Is it all of the above? Which one's purpose and goal to be a successful manufacturer, whatever success is called in manufacturing? What does that look like?
So, of course, you need to. We ventured. We made a mistake and ventured into the tillage business. I think there's lots of opportunity in the tillage business, but it's not who we are. We're livestock people. And, I had the blinders on, 15 years ago, roughly 12 years ago, that agriculture was agriculture. But there's many different things within agriculture. And tillage is one thing that's got lots of opportunity and always going to have lots of opportunity, but it's just not who we are. So just really be clear on what you have a huge passion for, because whenever you have a huge passion for it, you'll put in the hours, the blood, sweat, tears to make it work.
Right.
And there's lots of people out there in manufacturing that make little widgets. And I just visited a guy here last week that is into custom painting down south of us. And, he's getting paid 15 to 75 cents a piece to paint things, but they're painting thousands, tens of thousands of them a day, and he's doing very, very well. I'm really thankful the business we're in that that there's a decent dollar value, and when there's a decent dollar value, you can tuck a little bit of margin in there.
Yeah, 100%. So not everybody has 8 kids, right?
No, it's a little above the national average.
Right. So. What's that like, first of all?
Well, when they're younger,
it's
lots of physical work.
Right.
When they're older, it's lots of visits.
Right.
I think it's challenging and rewarding. It's challenging because there's no real blueprint to do it.
And every kid's different.
Every kid's different.
Yeah.
That's the amazing part. Every kid's different, but it's a lot of conversations. Especially we've had 5 teenagers in the house. Some have moved past the teenage years. We're going to have 5 teenagers in the house for a few more years, and it takes a lot of conversations. And those conversations often don't need to. Are likely not wise to have in the moment when there's a little bit of fireworks happening. It's likely wise not to have that conversation right then and there. But it's super, super important that you don't forget about what just happened, and that follow-up conversation needs to be in a different setting. Maybe it needs to be on a 5-gallon pail in the shop when they're in their zone. Maybe it needs to be just plunking down on their bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. But just need to keep having those conversations. And
why is that important? What's created of having those conversations?
I think it challenge you as a parent,
right.
Because it isn't easy, and having adult conversations is very, very important. And I believe that challenges in life, challenges in business, challenges in raising a family just makes you a little wiser every time, and and I think it's just really important that we in life, when we have challenges, kind of our human nature default is to get mad. And but if we can just take that challenge and use it as an opportunity, to learn, and an opportunity to be creative. So we can kind of get mad, or we can get creative in life. And I think it's just, our default is get mad, but I think if we just put that effort into creativity and some things, of course, like I said, every kid's a little different. And so when one thing doesn't work with the other one.
Right. So we touched on it slightly before this podcast, but we haven't really talked much about it. So the challenges that you're talking about right now, and challenges in life and challenges in work and so forth, you talk about that being some of the most important things. Correct. Because of what it taught you. Mm-hmm. Could you expand on that a little bit? Like, give me an example of what that even looks like. Be it the patent thing, or the 2018, or any of those kind of things. Like it just what it showed. Just showed a lot of like cracks in the business. A lot of what was it showing you? What was it teaching you? Was it teaching you the things that you were not aware of, that you were, that you needed to educate yourself and your team, or you had a weakness in the team, or what all did it show you?
So yeah, I guess in a few different areas, I guess on the finance side of things, you need somebody that, we need to. I'm just thinking here. First off, you need a finance person that really understands your business, manufacturing. Really, really happy that we have that today, and just knowing what your costs are, so you're not, you can have. We likely make between the three models, three lines of equipment, I should say. There's maybe 50 different models within them. And you can have, if you're not careful, you can have 30 or 35 or 40 of those models that you ain't making money on. And you're not making money on them because they're too complicated. They got too many features. They've got, maybe there's just no demand for them, so you got no volume going on. And so then and the other thing is, I really believe that, I don't know if this is getting off topic, but just really, when you're willing to share your challenges with other people, it's amazing how willing others are to share with you their challenges in life. And so if you can try and learn what they've done to overcome those challenges, and, don't have to do them all yourself. And then I guess on an important level, through every one of our challenges that we've had, and it's taken, I think, this last one, which was a really big one, to to realize that what we have isn't ours. I mean, we're here for a little time, and right. God's blessed us with things, and then we hand them back.
Right.
And so that, on a financial level, that's the case, that God's blessed. Bless me and Penta with, things have gone well.
Right.
But, we're do it for a little while and we hand it back. And,
sure.
Same with my, with our awesome kids and an awesome wife,
sure.
Just for a little while.
Yeah. So one thing that's unique about you is that you never take it personal. Like when the guy fought you on the patent, next year you go back and say hi to him.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Like, that's not normal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's for you? It's not hard to do that. Like, look past all that stuff. Why do you think for you it's not a challenge?
I don't know. They're just they're humans.
Right.
They decided to do it. I don't know. It's never. I guess I've lots and lots of people done me wrong. But tomorrow's a new day, and they did what they did because they thought it was wise. And I think that there's lots of times that people look back at what they did to someone, and it likely wasn't wise, and they wish they could move on with it too. And so it takes somebody to go and break the ice with them.
Right.
And I mean, just people that have, it's amazing how, there's a little saying out there that, keep your keep your friends close and your enemies
closer,
closer, or
yeah.
something like that. But
Yeah.
it's just amazing how life, here we got a manufacturer from Holland that bought one in Wisconsin. The one from Holland sued the one in Wisconsin for 5 years and won, and a few years later they end up buying the company because the owner wants to retire. So it's just kind of crazy and weird and wild how life works, and don't the past is the past, and don't dwell on it. And I know that's easy to say and it's tough for some people, but just tomorrow's a new day.
And is that probably part of your success is because of that?
Yeah, I think so, but keep in mind that I think that's been part of the success, but it's also sometimes we forget, we don't take it serious enough. Maybe when things need to be dealt with.
Right. Good. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else we need to talk about, or does that kind of wrap it up? That kind of brings you to today.
Yeah, I'm
two days a week we work now.
Yeah. So I'm just
the rest you just take it easy. No.
I'm just really I'm just really thankful to be in agriculture. I'm really thankful for the team we have. Super thankful for the family that we're blessed with, and we're coming into a challenging stretch here with interest rates, and so I think we just need to take this time and try and figure out how to be creative and get through it. We just
challenging times creates hunger, and that's important, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times you get too lazy.
Yeah. When we had kind of 3-4 years of orders falling in our lap, and now we don't have that anymore, and you do learn. I believe you do learn the most through challenging stretches,
right.
And so just be true to yourself. Make sure that what you're in, every day, not every day is going to be green lights, but just most days need to be, and just make sure what you're, and I've been listening to a book here the last little while, and, they just be very, very, sure, what wall you've got your ladder leaning up against, it when you get to the top of that wall, that it's at the right, you're on top of that ladder, that you're against the right wall. It's and for people out there that are, I don't know why this has come to my head, but we had the opportunity in 2015 to buy an ongoing manure spreader manufacturer. That guy spent 10 years trying to sell his business, and I think you need to always be finding your replacement, and always, just always have, if you're out of the weeds, which I'm thankful that I'm not in today, it lets you kind of look down the road a little piece, and let's make sure that, we all get a little older every day, and, how long do we want to do this for? And, what's our exit strategy look like?
Right. Well, it's good. There's 25 years of manufacturing, or in the process of manufacturing right there, and not been a bed of roses. But as you can tell, it's a person that's taking it one day at a time, and that's the outcome. So 8 kids later, and up to, where are we at again? 60 million a year in gross revenue. And it's cool because you got to have a team of probably just under 100 employees, or around 100 employees now.
Yeah, we were at 130. I think we're at 115 today.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. You create a lot of opportunities for other people too, right? So that's awesome. Creates economy going. So, and as you said, it's awesome working for farmers. Farmers, still done by a handshake deal, right?
That's right.
And that's
most
cool.
awesome group out there.
That's right. So that's it. That's all. That's with Dirt Grow Podcast, and thank you for tuning in today, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to Dirt Grow Podcast, where every Tuesday we dish out the dirt. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out dirtgrow.com for more content and episodes. I'll see you next Tuesday. Ciao.